Okay, I think we can go live. Pooja, I think we are good to go live. You can send across the, you can send the link to participants. Okay, I think we can go live. Pooja, I think we are good to go live. You can send across the, you can send the link to participants.
Yeah, the participants are joining in a minute. I just shared the link with them. Yes. Hi everyone, am I audible?
Yes, Pooja, we can hear you.
Yeah, so we can just quickly get started if you guys can maybe switch on your video so that we can interact.
Yes, just a second.
Hi Akhilesh, how are you? Hope you're doing good.
Yeah, doing fine. I think you are in campus, right?
I am still in campus. We are still a little bit optimistic that the PGP office allows us to stay back since the course is ending. So
maybe they'll allow you, no? You are final year guy.
Yeah, let's see. Okay, we have Arpit also with us. Hi Arpit, am I audible to you?
Hi Pooja, you are audible.
Yes. We'll just wait for Srishti to join in quickly and then maybe we can get started.
Sure.
Cool. So we are live on YT now. A very warm welcome to all of you. Thank you for taking out time today to be with us. And for this session, we are planning basically for all the call getters of IIM Kozhikode. The PI calls are out for IIM Kozhikode. So all of you who are watching the stream, welcome to C2C Mentors. This is Pooja here. And in this session, we will be talking about few tips and tricks here and there, how to ace your interviews for your mock PI, for your PIs, and how to get into IMK. So we have been there 1 year ago or maybe 2 years ago now, since we we are about to complete our courses. But yes, we will be more than happy to help you guys out there with anything which we can. So can we quickly get going with by introducing ourselves, maybe, so that our viewers can understand who we are talking to. So maybe Srishti, you can start a little bit about yourself, your educational background, your so Srishti, we have from the batch of 2020 to 2022, PGP 24, and Srishti, you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Pooja. Hello, everyone. As Pooja mentioned, I'm from batch of 24. I'm a commerce graduate, graduating in BCom honors from University of Delhi. Post that, I have some experience in the field of audit. After that, I have done my MBA from Kozhikode, and now recently I have completed my CFA level 2. I interned with Citibank for my summers, and for the final job, I'm an incoming consultant. So to talk about my journey in IIM Kozhikode, it has been a well curated ride. I have participated in multiple corporate competitions, which is a way of how you learn in B school. So any questions about that can be asked after everyone has ended introducing themselves. Thank you.
Sure. Thanks a lot, Srishti. Akhilesh, do you want to go next?
Sure, Pooja. So I am an engineering graduate. I have done my engineering from Savitribai Phule University. Post that I have worked in two firms, one in agribusiness, another in education technology. So I have combinedly 30 months of work ex. And post that I have joined IMK. Yeah, the journey is actually really fun because you get to interact with a lot of people from different backgrounds, and this is something that you are actually aiming for, yeah, when you join a B school. So I'll say that the experience is very fun here. Thank you.
Yeah, I can completely agree to that. Arpit, we can go ahead with you.
Sure. Hi everyone, I'm from PGP 24 batch itself. Prior to joining MBA, I have graduated from Delhi University in business economics. Post that, I worked as a financial analyst in a startup. Then I got the opportunity to join IIM Kozhikode and pursue my MBA. And in my summer internship, I interned with State Street and recently got placed with EY Parthenon as investment banker. So 2 years of MBA has been quite interesting for me as well. And I am open to all questions. Whatever questions you are curious about, we all are here to serve upon it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Arpit. So a little bit about me also. This is Pooja here from the batch of 2022 again. I'm an engineer again from SPPU, Savitribai Phule Pune University. Post that I have 1 year experience as a software developer for a New York-based MNC. And post that I joined IMK. During my journey at IMK, I got the opportunity to intern with Amazon as a product manager. And since then, I've been like, there's no looking back when it comes to Prodman. So after that, I've also participated, like Srishti said, a lot of case competitions. Too exciting, and happy to help you guys with all your questions today. So feel free to drop in whatever questions you have in the chat window, and we'll be taking up them one by one. So let's start with how should the students proceed with their personal interview preparation. Maybe we can just go ahead with chunk by chunk, since we know it's a broad thing and we cannot cover it like at all pura ek saath mein. So let's start with academic questions because they will be different from different streams, and we have a great combination of streams here, like engineers and non-engineers. So maybe we can discuss how should they proceed about academics and what IMK wants them when it comes to PI and how grilling it is when it comes to ACADS. So any one of you wants to take it up can go ahead.
Okay, I'll go ahead. So to talk about academics, first I'll share how my interview at IMK went. Since I come from a finance background, I mentioned that I want to pursue finance as a specialization during my MBA. So they started by asking basic finance questions, nothing over the top, just basics. So how I understood their function is they will ask you basic questions about the domain, and when you are good at answering those, they'll move a notch higher. But it's never a problem if you don't know anything. You can say that you don't know, and you are coming to K to learn that. So that's fine. My suggestion for academics would be if you are saying any stream in which you want to do specialization, please do read the basics of it thoroughly, because if you are unable to answer the basics, it's a negative connotation for your profile. Apart from that, you can pick one or two favorite subjects from your undergrad and do them very well. Because if they ask you randomly, you can say in an interview that this is something you have not delved into deeper, but you can say what are your favorite subjects, from where they can ask questions. And if they ask questions from your subject, make sure that you know how to answer them, because otherwise it would be again a negative impression on your profile.
Right.
Yeah. So if I would like to share, my interview was also on the similar lines. Basically, I had done my graduation in business economics. So my 50% of interview was on economics itself. And moreover, if you are going to pursue or whatever stream, as Rishi mentioned, if you are interested in finance, so you must be having some technical knowledge about it. It is not mandatory that you must be having complete or full knowledge of finance, but 2 or 3 subjects would be sufficient, so that you can justify that yes, you are willing to pursue that course in MBA. Moreover, in IIM Kozhikode, if you are aware of this fact that there are 2 bifurcation of PGP and PGP finance. So if some candidates are going for PGP finance, then it is fact that you should be having a deep knowledge of finance itself, because you are going to pursue a specialization in it apart from PGP, that is the flagship course. Why I'm saying this, because PGP finance would be learning and understanding all the finance concept for entire 2 years, but for PGP batch they are having option for finance, marketing and other subjects as well. So there should be some bifurcation. There should be clear clarity in your mind whether you are interested in PGP finance or the flagship course.
Got it. We also have a question here, if Akhilesh, you can take it up maybe. So somebody has asked that can software experience be plus point for PM for IT companies like Google, MS, Amazon? So since you also come from an engineering background, during your summers, do you think it could be an added point to your CV maybe?
Yeah, I'd say that, yeah, definitely software experience will help. But then at the same point of time, the criterias are not just what your work experience is, but also your academics at times and how you perform in the different rounds that the company conducts. So if there are 4 rounds and you're not eligible for interview, then having a work ex won't actually mean anything, right? So you'll have to maintain a balance of everything. And talking about our discussion, how to focus and what specifically to focus on in CATs, I'll say that go for the final year subjects specifically, because those are the core subjects that you were studying. So if I'm a computer engineer, the subjects related to software engineering will come either in the 3rd year, 2nd sem, or the 4th year, 1st sem, 4th year, 2nd sem. If I'm talking about any subject which is maybe in the 1st year or 2nd year, which is just the basic, then for the interviews, it makes no sense, because then you're just giving them an highlight of what you have studied. Whereas if you're talking about the final year subjects, then it shows that you have knowledge about the field in which you have done your undergraduate, right? So that is one point I'll say that you can keep in your mind. Apart from that, at times interviewers might not even give you the choice in terms of subject. So at that point of time, it is okay if you say that you're not aware of that answer particularly. Just say that you are not aware. Don't gas around, because that will irritate them even more. That would be all from my side, specifically for engineers, because we tend to answer everything that is asked. So don't try to do that. Most of the profs are already engineers, so they know a lot of tips and tricks about it, right?
Yeah, so just to add on to that, what Akhilesh said, during my IMK interview, I remember they asked me about some finance concepts here and there. And I specifically mentioned that I'm not really into this thing. I don't know it so deep. But again, this kept on drilling to just to understand, so that I deal with uncomfortable situations. They just maybe want to see you how you react to them and how you handle your temper, your patience, your presence of mind, stuff like that. So just be there. Also for all your academic subjects, especially engineers, हम लोग एक रात में पढ़ाई करते हैं. We are known for that. But just go through your subjects thoroughly. Important subjects, जो भी practical applications होते हैं, main concepts के, I would strongly suggest to at least be aware of those, because I come from a computers background and I was asked a lot about data analytics, data management, because that is the new thing now. Data is the new thing now. So जो practically अभी चल रहा है, just related to what is happening around, and focus on those subjects really well. Also, we have a doubt from one of our students that somebody who is not really scoring well in their 10th or 12th, so they often get this question like, why your scores are low in particular, or maybe in graduation, low Q has scores. So how do you think is the best way to justify that?
Let me take this question. So, as per my opinion, the question could be justified if you could help them out that apart from academics, you were into something else, and you have done significantly achieved something else there as well. So you can easily justify at that area as well. Moreover, you could also justify by saying that academic is the one aspect of your curriculum or your part of life. On the professional front, you could tell them that you have done you have excelled into sports, you have excelled into some case competitions or some debates at zonal level, state level, national level. So in that area as well, you can justify that this could be the major reason why we have lagged in our grades. But the grades, as far as grades are past academics are concerned, yes, it does matter. First, it could matter in your shortlisting criteria. Second, it could hamper in your summer internships as well as the final placements. But it is not the at the end of life. I would say that there is much scope and bandwidth that you could excel, and you could compensate and overcome it. If you would have the shortlist in the IMK interview, then you could easily shift your or travel your IMK interview apart from your academics. You could showcase your strength, what your strength is, in which field you are interested into, so that they don't just stick to the academics point or the grade point.
Got it. Thank you so much for that. And maybe just to add on to that, sometimes if you just let them know that you've really been something, you've been trying different things, and that is why that has gone low, it sometimes shows that you want to understand what you're really looking forward to continue in life, and not just do things because your peers are doing it. So you just want to explore many options, and that is why some part is getting affected. You're focused on something else. So that is really it all matters. Again, I think the panel would agree here, but it matters upon how well you can convince the panel, how you can portray your story really well so that it comes out very natural. So just be who you are and be there and frame your answers very nicely so that it conveys the real you. And this is all about this. Maybe let's move on to the next chunk for all those people who come up with WorkX. So there may be questions in personal interview about WorkX also. So what are the things they should keep in mind, and how should they prepare about those questions? Akhilesh, maybe you, because you have various experiences, like one in ed and one in IT. So maybe you could start.
Yeah, so I think the first question is always about understanding what you have done in that particular company or in that particular domain, right? So the first answer should be more about the basics of what you have done. So for example, if I was in agri, what I did in that agri firm. So I was a supervisor. At the same point of time, I was handling the delivery process. So I'll give just a brief about it, right? And I'll keep my answers ready. I'll give them hooks about what they should ask me in the next question, right? So you should be prepared for like a 35 to 50 seconds, 60 seconds answer, just to give them an idea, and maybe in that way you can move forward. Then I had WorkX of education technology company as well. So in that kind of a WorkX, they already know what are the different tools. So instead of maybe giving them jargons about it, talk about a particular project you have worked on, if there is something. Because I had like about 24 months of WorkX in an edtech firm, so I actually handled 1-2 projects individually, right? So if I talk about that, then for them it actually makes sense, because then I am a person who can take responsibility, I am a person who can be a leader, and that shows a lot of qualities about me as a person, right? So in this way you can do it. And if you have some generic WorkX, then maybe talk about the technology that you have, if particularly you are from IT background, and talk about the firm, what is actually going on in that sector, and so on and so forth.
Right. And maybe Srishti and Arpit, you can add on, because we have just recently done with final placement, so you would know better about how to go about it.
Yeah. So adding on to what Akhilesh has said, first, know your job profile very well from the start to the end. Know about the recent happenings in the industry you have worked in. And second, I would like to say is, when you are mentioning your work experience, mention what impact or what learning you could have gathered or created while you were working there. because they don't want to know the JD of your work experience. They want to know what you did. It's about you. The interview is about you. So you talk about what you did in your job profile. That is how it shows what qualities you have, because we cannot directly mention that we have these qualities, but when we answer these specific questions, it brings out the qualities that you have in you. So just create impactful answers for what you did, any project you took up, what revenue you generated, how many people you managed under yourself, or the amount of work you did, what was your contribution, and what the company could achieve under you. That should be the main motive for your work express.
Yeah, adding one point to what Srishi said, that you could also mention what skills you could leverage from your WorkX to your MBA and in your future goals as well, and how your WorkX has been aligned to which could justify your objective to do the MBA. What is that gap or that bridge? How you are going to bridge that gap from point A to point B? So I would say be specific. Don't guess around your WorkX as well. Uh, your answers should be more contemporary in nature. It should have more practical examples, more industry related examples, so that it could showcase or portray that yes, this person is having that professionalism in his answers, or technically he is not challenged, I would say.
Right. I agree. And I think one thing which I could add on from my side is when you structure your answers, like how we structure, even at C2C during our GDPI, we tell students to form a structure in a particular framework kind of a thing. You could divide your work experience into three parts. One is the roles and responsibilities that you had for your project. Second is what initiatives you took as a part of the team or maybe the organization you worked for, and what were your achievements. For example, अगर तुम्हें कोई award मिला है, employee of the month, employee of the year, or something like that. So if you structure it really well and you tell the panel that this is what I worked on, this initiative was taken by me and I was also rewarded for this. So that gives a very clean thing that you understand what you actually did. So one thing is knowing what you do, and one thing is conveying how you put it across. So even that is really important, and that is where communication plays a really major role. So many of the students also have this in mind, that fluent English is very much required when it comes to your personal interviews, and using of fancy words, I mean, some good vocab is really important, and this is what makes your selection at IIMs. Is this, how much is this true, or how do you think this can be changed?
Again, I'll go first. So to talk about your speaking skills, I would say your answers should be coherent, right? They should be something that convey your story to the panel, to the interviewer. It should. I won't say that having fancy vocab words or having jargons used is something recommended, because it only brings about that you know good words. But if you are probed about it, then you might get stuck, right? About your job, about your academics, or any personal statement as well. So you should focus on bringing about your story in the most fluent way, or in the most coherent manner that you can bring about, because there can be interviewers from any place around India or the world. So they might be North Indians, they might be South Indians. So you should always talk in basic language. That drives your point well. And about fluency, I would say you should practice your answers. It's not about not getting stuck or stammering. It's about confidence that finally speaks on your interview. So if you are confident about whatever you are saying, and if you get stuck 1 or 2 times or 3 times, it's fine. Don't lose your calm, or don't lose your confidence there.
Yeah. First of all, we should be clear that it is not a vocabulary test. First thing. Second, if you are comfortable in your daily routine or in your professional life, actually you have conveyed or you have communicated by using technical jargons or vocabulary, then it is fine. It is completely upon yourself that how you could portray your personality. If you are not comfortable, then better not use it, because you cannot learn those vocabulary within 3 weeks or 4 weeks. It is a huge challenge for yourself, and it would show that you are like, you have prepared or learned for it. It won't be coming out as in a natural way. So better not to travel that road. But I would say, if yes, you could include some technical words related to your work or related to your conceptual knowledge as well, then it could show that yes, you are sound enough to have to showcase your personality for a B school, as a B school candidate. Because you should be clear in your mind that you are going to going for an interview or for a B school. It is not a usual interview. Okay, so for a B school candidate, you must be having a knowledge in and out whatever you have done in your past.
Just talking about the negatives of what it can actually bring to you. In one of the questions that was asked to me, I used two words, inspiration and motivation, right? And in that same answer, that interviewer then asked me, Akhilesh, tell me the difference between inspiration and motivation. Though I was clear about it, but if I would have just gone through the dictionary and I would have like just jargon a few of these terminologies, then at that point of time, you're not able to differentiate properly between these words, or maybe sympathy and empathy and stuff like that, right? So they ask you questions like this when you use words which are similar in different contexts, right? So be clear about whatever you are speaking in the interview, because then that one particular word can add actually work as a hook, and then the whole interview will be driven in that direction. And maybe if you're not comfortable answering those kind of questions, then the whole interview is kind of screwed. So even if you know the answer, you won't be very sure about it, so what it exactly means, and in that way you might actually ruin your chances. So be very cautious about whatever you're speaking.
Right. Agar panel mein, if somebody is an HROB professor who uses these terminologies day in, day out, तो वो तो पकड़ ही लेंगे. And then when you're not able to differentiate, the entire interview gets driven in one direction, which you don't obviously want. और फिर 20-22 मिनट ऐसे निकल जाएंगे. So just don't copy paste fancy answers from Google ऐसे करके whatever. बहुत सारे answers मिलते हैं. What are your strengths, weaknesses, failures, success? बहुत सारे answers मिलते हैं. But just make sure that you form your own answers, because when you speak, the panel can understand that it is your story or you've just rectified it. So these things don't work here, because they are HROB professors. They will understand who you are as a person the moment you even walk into that room, by your body language, by your gestures, by everything. So just don't try to play anything like that. Be very safe, be very confident when you put it out, right? We have one more question here from one of our student is, I have done graduation in political science honors from DU and WorkX in BPO, that is backend process of Google. So how do I justify this as a quality WorkX? So if anybody could take it up, political science background to BPO WorkX.
So by BPO WorkX, I could understand it could be a customer support, I would say. So you could justify that customer support is a support secondary function, or a major support function in an industry for any company, you could say. So having a support function or worked in a BPO industry, first of all, you could play on your communication skills. It could be a major strength for you. Second, you could say that in and out, you can understand the customer, what are their pain points, what are their touch points. You could say that I have that ability to connect with the customer personally, where I could understand the customers and deliver the solutions, timely solutions and relevant solutions to them. So as far as your political background is concerned, or political honors background is concerned, so you could say that in political honors, you must have studied regarding history or civics. So thereby you can align your answers from your WorkX as well as the political honors.
Right. And since I have worked as a prod man and I'm interested also in prod man, so I cannot emphasize enough on the job role that you've done, the backend thing, the customer support thing. That is what we, even as product managers, need to do. We need to talk, we need to step on the ground level, we need to talk to customers, we need to understand what is happening, and that is how it levels up to the management level. मतलब वो उनकी जो problems है, whatever customers are facing, sometimes customers don't even know that this is the problem they are facing. So based on the complaints that we get, based on the feedbacks that we get, so your position in your company was a really critical one, and you supported the management function at a very critical position. So this is how you can obviously justify it's completely good. What we have one more question here, that what if we don't have any national level participation but have participation certification? Does that add value to your CV? Not a rank maybe, but just a participation.
So first thing, you must be clarified with this part that during the selection part, it doesn't matter, I would say. You could easily justify, yes, you have participated in such and such competition during your interview. And if it is your strength, and if it has scope that you could pursue that in MBA as well, or by any chance you could leverage that competition or whatever it is in your MBA as well. So definitely you can go ahead, and it would give you a brownie point or plus point in that case.
Right. Anybody wants to add on to what Arpit said?
Sure. So for example, we'll have different competitions. It might be extracurricular, it might be co-curricular, it might be case comms, right? So not everyone can be a winner or a second position or a third position holder, right? So in that kind of situations, if you are very well versed with that particular domain about which you're talking or about which you're displaying the certificate, then at that point of time, you can actually drive the interview around it, right? And when you're driving the interview will at least speak for like 5-6 minutes on that topic, and there you can actually showcase what skills you have. So you might not be the first person, but maybe you were the 10th person amongst 1,000 who applied for it. And at that point of time, it showcases how much you know about the stream. And that is what is impressive about you, right? At that point of time, because not everyone in your batch will know about it. And in this way, you can actually differentiate yourself from the rest of the crowd. So I'll say that it can actually help you if you are able to portray it in a certain way.
Correct. And what I would like to add on here is that it also depends how you measure your own achievement. For example, if you have phobia of water or swimming, you're afraid to step into the swimming pool since childhood, and then in your college days you have a participation certificate of some swimming competition, even a college level, that shows that you've progressed, that you've overcome your challenge. So that is how you can put it across the table, and the panel will definitely understand, because first, second, third, तीन ही rank होते हैं. अब now everybody cannot fit into those 3 ranks, right? So it depends on how far you've come, how far you've achieved something. Because अगर तुम अपना CAT का percentile भी, like we all of us have different CAT percentiles, so it does not matter that you were 100 percentiler or not, but it all matters about how much you've progressed, how you made it after getting into an IIM, how much efforts we have put in here. So don't worry about only the participation certificate. All maybe you need to do is just justify your story, how you participated or how was your performance, and maybe you can add some numbers to give it more impact, that these were the participating students and I was among the top, maybe whatever, 5 percentile or 10 percentile. Maybe that can give weightage to your CV, definitely. Let's move on. Moving ahead to freshers, we also have many of them who are freshers here. So we also talked about WorkX people, but how do freshers prepare for PI? Because they are not having any work experience or projects or achievements to talk about here. So what should they keep in mind while preparing for their PIs?
Okay, to start with, for freshers, since a lot of talking points get deleted because of not having WorkX, you can expect questions about academics. And as Akhilesh said, you can take up your final year subjects and prepare on them. One pro tip for preparing for academics is you can type the subject name on Google and search for interview questions. So which will help you prepare on a broad basis for that subject. Apart from that, you can talk about any project or any POR that you have taken up in your undergrad, or you can also talk about any material internships that you have done, because internships actually differentiate you and diversify your profile, and they show that whatever you learn you have applied, and that is what similar thing on the similar lines, that is what is going to happen in a B school as well. You learn in the first year, you do your summer internship, then you learn in the second year, then you finally get placed in a company. So this shows if you have internships and if you have done live projects and stuff, that actually adds value. So if you haven't done anything of that sort so far, so you can take up certain certifications for the specialization you want to get into, or across different specializations as well, if you want to explore different domains like marketing, finance, and want to keep your options open. So all these things will add talking points to your profile, I would say.
Yeah, first of all, freshers should not dishearten them, just because you are not coming with any kind of baggage. I would say you are not coming with any kind of specialization. You are coming in an open-ended manner. So you could easily justify that at this current point of time, I'm not realizing what field of interest should I go into, and MBAs would be the best option to consider various fields and various choice of options, so that in long term I could justify that in this particular field I would want to be an SME. So this could be the major point or major strength where you could play upon during your interview. And whatever Srichi has added about the certifications, about the PORs, moreover about the contemporary topics, you could also work upon, like general knowledge, what is currently happening or trending in the industry. So these are the key areas where you can work upon.
Okay, so taking the discussion forward, I'd also like to add one more point, which is hobbies and interests. So this is not something that you will be able to quantify, of course, but this is a qualitative factor. So if you know about a certain topic really well, then actually you should try to put that topic forth in your introduction itself, or maybe try to put that one thing in front of the interviewers through your answers, right? Through by giving examples and stuff. Apart from that, general knowledge is, I think, one factor which can actually differentiate you, because like 3 of my top interviews completely revolved around general knowledge. It was like 10 to 15 minutes of discussion about world geopolitics, what is currently happening, and how different politicians are reacting to it, and what will be the situation because of it. Because eventually politics impacts business a lot, and if you are able to correlate both the things, that if in USA the elections are going on, what will be the impact of this election on the certain business in India, right? So if I'm able to correlate these two things, then I am a very logical person, and that is directly interpretable for the interviewers. So if you don't have WorkX, then keep yourself very much updated in terms of what is happening around you, not just on the global level, but also on the local level, because they might ask you questions about your state, about your district specifically, and these questions you should be able to like answer. We were asked about our university, and since I come from Savitribai Phule Pune University, then they asked me about Savitribai Phule, when she was born, when she died, what did she do in her whole career. So if I'm not able to answer this, it makes no sense for them, because I studied in that university for 4 years and I don't know about the person. So these things you should be aware of if you're a fresher.
Right. And if you don't know about your own university, then it doesn't give a good impact, because they are selecting you for their own college. You're getting branded by that college and you're going to take that legacy forward. So it becomes very important for you to understand your at least previous college. So again, to continue with what Arpit just said about the current affairs thing. So can we just help the viewers with some frameworks that they can use during the framing their answers with current affairs? Because just speaking out, there may be many things on YouTube, how to put up current affairs, or maybe is pe kya opinion hai, why this happened, how this happened thing. But when it comes to interviews at IIMs, I believe we need to follow a particular structure so that it comes out very cleanly. and it makes the panel feel that you know the complete issue and you're not being biased only towards a particular point. So something which we can keep in mind during presenting current affairs maybe.
Sure. In case of current affairs, if I would say, like, e-commerce could be the one of the key topics that interviewer could ask. So during those time, you could follow a MECE approach, where you could involve proper summary, where you could summarize what the particular industry is, what are the key trends, what are the key challenges that the industry is facing, and at the last you could say your opinion that these are the major loopholes, or these are the major areas where this particular industry could improve into. And you could also mention their key competitors, how they are functioning in that particular industry, and what are the future prospects for those particular industry. So see, current affair is a quite vast topic. You cannot prepare for current affairs in just a moment, because it is for the sake of interview, right? So it is better to come prepared for with two to three particular industries which is relevant to your work ex, or where you are having interest to. So better prepared with those 2 to 3 industries, and under those industries better prepared with 2 to 3 companies as well, I would say, just for the sake of giving examples how in that those particular industries those particular companies are performing. So this could be the proper structure, I would say, one should follow.
Right. Anyone would like to add on with some new framework from your MBAs?
Okay, to talk about one approach that I follow for current affairs is, first, you read about the issue in and out. When talking about it, you can start by stating all the facts about the issue. Then you can point out certain good things, certain bad things. So it shows that you haven't been biased when you were doing your research, and then you can talk about your opinion. It shows, it again demonstrates that you have done your research and then come to a conclusion. So when I was preparing, I used to study about the issue in depth, then write 5 good points about it and 5 bad points about it, and then think of what I feel about it. So if the bad is outweighing the good, then you can talk about those bad points and then suggest how these bad points can be removed or can be improved upon. It shows that you have done your research, formulated your opinion, and then you're coming up with ideas or suggestions to overcome them as well. It like Akhilesh mentioned, shows a logical connection and logical presence of mind at that point of time as well.
Right, got it. And some of the frameworks maybe they could use is you do a pestle analysis so that you cover all the pointers and don't miss out on any one thing, because we tend to miss out sometimes on the environmental factor or maybe the political factor. We move towards a economic perspective क्योंकि newspaper में सिर्फ economic के बारे में बोला है. So don't do that. Just read about here and there, because when you're given a current affair question, the interviewer will ask you what are the different stakeholders that are involved in this issue and what will be the impact of any decision that is made, how will it impact different stakeholders. So you need to know who all are the stakeholders involved in the first place. So maybe cover your current affairs in that manner. Maintain good notes, because एक बार पढ़ के याद होने वाला काम नहीं है ये. You cannot rectify. So it's good to have some stats in place also, जो भी इंडिया का current GDP है, or maybe the employment rate or educational वाला literacy rate, whatever it is, or state wise कितना, maybe some stats related to COVID, something of that sort. It's good to have some numbers handy so you can talk with the numbers, which gives a greater impact. Even this you can carry forward during your summers as well, because you won't get a lot of time before your summers. So this helps even during summers is what I would say. We also have one more question, actually pretty many questions regarding to specializations after MBA. So there's a major question. There's one of the main questions that is asked in interview at what after MBA? Where do you see yourself after MBA? What would you like to do after MBA? So how should students go about that question?
So basically, there could be 2 separate answers. First for freshers, second for work experience candidates. If I talk about particularly for work experience candidates, they must align their answers related to their work ex. If they would have been into the finance industry, so I would definitely assume they would be planning for the finance industry only. But by any chance they are planning to shift or change any particular industry, suppose it must be consulting, so they must be prepared that why consulting, why consulting excites them, right? And what are the key areas they are looking into for the short term, medium term, and long term goals. So basically they must be well versed with what consulting goes into, what kind of process consulting does involved. So what are the key areas, or what are the key companies where consulting is famous into, क्या hierarchy है consulting की. So these are the key topics they must be well informed and versed as far as particular specialization is concerned.
Got it. Anybody would like to add something?
Go ahead, Akhilesh.
Okay. So when we are talking about the specialization, so I had work into different companies, basically into different sectors. So I could actually frame my answer more around Genmen, because I wanted to actually venture into Genmen, right? But then there are freshers who maybe don't have any prior background, and they are not very sure about where they want to go. So they can actually relate their answers to maybe their internships that they have done, or the interest that they have. It is not always necessary to have some kind of quantitative verification factor behind you to say that I want to go in maybe marketing because I had prior work in marketing. Your personality actually portrays what you are as a person. So if I said in my introduction that I like to maybe interact with people, and then I had few experiences which actually motivated me to maybe kind of pursue this particular thing forward, then I can correlate this answer of mine, my introduction, to my where do I see myself in the next 5 years, and then I can connect this second answer to the third answer. So it all actually comes in a loop. You'll see that they are all connected. In that way, maybe you can connect. Otherwise, if you have WorkX, you already have a framework that is designed for you, wherein you will correlate your answer to the stream that the college is providing you, and in that way, you can say that in the next 5 years, I'll be here, I'll be there.
So it's always good to have an understanding about different domains, because if you just randomly say that I want to get into marketing just because you've seen somebody and you think it's really cool, but it's not cool, you need to know what is marketing, how it is practically applied. So you need to know certain concepts related to that. It's like JEE exam. Engineers out there can maybe relate. You are taught what you're going to be taught in engineering first year, but you're evaluated based on those concepts in your JEE itself. So you need to know a little bit about finance, marketing, about strategic management, consulting. So if you're speaking out that, you need to know is what comes up in the interviews. I have one question for you, Srishti, maybe you can take it up. One of our viewers says that I want to work in management consulting after MBA. How can I prepare for the questions related to that? And he's a BCom fresher. So how should it be brought up in the interview, since you will be working with management consulting now?
Okay. So at the interview level, during your entrance, like at this level, I don't think it would make a lot of sense to talk about the specific industry you want to venture in unless asked, because it will steer the entire interview to the industry or to the management consultancy domain, but it won't be about you anymore, right? And then they would talk about why you want to venture there. If you have some supporting internship or life project or certification in that field, fine. But if you don't have that, then they might grill you that all of the people who are here want to go to the elite job profiles, management consultancy being one of them. So they might think that you're just following the herd if you do not have any backing proof of it, any internship, any subject or course that you have done. But if you do want to bring that up, support it by something that you have done previously, any competition in consultancy, any family background or friend in consultancy. You can read about what that industry is, what are the frameworks that they use, and then read about some strategic management concepts relating to that. Know very well about what consultants do, know well about the domains the hierarchy, as Arpit mentioned about consultancy. So if you do want to mention, do all the research about the management consultancy field, the major companies that are there, the offer, the growth prospects, or the types of problems that they look into. So do all that research, I would say.
Right. We also have one question. So a student has some extracurriculars. I mean, he has a gap, but he has a lot of extracurriculars, I would say, achievements in the form of reality shows like MTV Roadies, Indian Idol, and so on and so forth. So how should that be brought up during interviews? If you could share your thoughts on that. I mean, it's really cool, like if you went to Roadies or Indian Idol, because very few go there, and घर वाले भी नहीं allow करते. But how to put it up in the interviews is the question.
Okay. So firstly, it's a great thing to have done that. Second, if you want to bring about that in your interview, you can say that you wanted to leap or explore more of your passions alongside academics, right? Getting on this stage, these reality shows is a big thing. It shows that you had some persistence, some skill in your in that domain, that you went up that level. So you can demonstrate that. You can say that you had a good academic experience, you had a good academic profile, but you wanted to foray into other things. You wanted to explore something on the sides or something alongside academics. So you went there, explored for a year, and now you want to come back into academics again. And you would continue doing these things that you explored over that year alongside your MBA as well, because MBA maybe you get a lot of opportunities where you can sing or where you can do all the MTV roadie stuff. One place you can drag students, maybe not allowed in K per se, but yeah, you can do that. So yes, you can talk fairly well about it. It can add a fun element to the interview as well, because interviewers are interviewing for a long time. So it can be one great talking point.
Definitely. Mumbai तो आप आ ही रहे हैं. And second thing, this shows your outgoing personality as well. One thing you could leverage on this is that specifically for IIM Kozhikode, you could mention that for cultural committee, what your vision is, and how would you help by getting into cultural committee and other committees, help them organizing multiple events, what ideas you could bring to the table, what different perspectives basically per se you would bring into. So this shows that you have that interest or zeal to bring some change, and definitely you could move your interview in that respect as well.
Got it. And we also have a lot of clubs, committees, interest groups to support your passion, whatever it may be coming, be it acting, be it singing. Even Akhilesh is a part of a club, so maybe he can add on more.
Yeah, I'll say that if the name is very popular, then you can actually put it in your introduction as well by at the end.
Yeah, roadies hai aur kitna popular hai.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're putting that name at the end of your introduction, then the interviewer is definitely going to ask you about in which round you were and what were the activities that they asked. And in that way, the whole discussion is driven, right? So your whole interview would be around that and nothing else maybe, or at least 50% of your interview will be around that. And then you can actually connect it with management. So what you learned about management from there. So how you manage time, how you convince your parents that you want to go, because usually the people who are being interviewed for IMK or these kind of prestigious institutes, they have a stellar academic record. And on top of that, if you're doing this thing as well, then it is actually a plus point or brownie point. So that will definitely work in your favor, but you will have to understand how you put forth these things.
Got it. So maybe we could, we are near to wrapping up the session. One last thing that you would like to tell all the call getters, one tip from each of your side that could help them to prepare well for the PIs and get into their dream B school. One liner tip from all of you.
From my side, I would advise that just be natural and be yourself. it is not necessary that you should know everything. Better to ask them that, yes, I am not prepared at this current point of time, but I am seeker and I am eager to learn and I'm quick learner. And this is the platform, basically I am Kozhikode, that would give me that ample of opportunities to learn, to excel and to grow in my career. That's it.
Okay. Adding on to what Arpit said, one thing I advise all of you guys is that don't pride on your percentile yet, unless you convert a B school. This is the time to put in extra efforts than CAT. Prepare in and out, prepare about yourself, prepare about things happening around you, and prepare about everything that the B school is. When you're appearing for any interview, research very, very well about that B school, so that you're well prepared for any questions that come up. So this is not the time to like take pride in your high percentiles. Just convert it, and then it's all gonna be a party.
Akhilesh, you?
I'll say presence of mind is a very important thing. Be there in the interview. So if they are asking you some logical question or maybe even technical questions, but if you can come up with a funny answer at that point of time, go for it. If you can go for it, go for it, because that will actually separate you from the rest of the candidates and might give you an edge. Apart from that, don't actually worry when you are in that interview room, because if you're already stressed, then the answers that you have prepared for, they won't come to you and you won't be able to express yourself properly. So be in the moment, be very logical about what you're speaking, take your time and answer the questions.
Great. And enough of my, I mean, we have a lot of advices now. Something from my side, guys, just be yourself, chill out, do what you like, just give out your best, because when you speak naturally, it comes out very evidently on your face that you're telling your own story and you really want to get into MBA, really want to pursue that dream of yours. So Kozhikode is waiting for you. We are waiting for you guys to be our juniors. The batch of 2024, PGP 26, the Arjuna Path is waiting for you. Gods on Campus is waiting for you. And we here at C2C Mentors are ready to help you with whatever we can. Be it your preparation, be it your summers, any kind of help, we would like to help you out with it. Whatever questions you have, do feel free to drop in the comments and we would take it up for sure. And thank you so much, Akhilesh, Arpit, and Srishti, for taking out time this evening and spend with all our viewers, with our YT family, and clarifying a lot of their questions. We will be inviting you soon for our Zoom sessions as well, because some of you are already mentoring students. So yeah, that is not a thing to say, but yes, we will have more such sessions with you guys also. So thank you, everyone. Thanks all for joining in and have a great day. Thank you. Bye. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. All the best.
Thank you.